The blizzard on Arcturus 7 wasn't supposed to hit for another 3 solar cycles. Wes had checked the atmospheric readings twice that morning, his military training making him meticulous about such things even 5 years after leaving the Terran Defense Force. But the ice planet had other plans, and now the winds howled like vengeful spirits outside his reinforced habitat dome. He was pouring synthetic coffee when the sensors began screaming. Multiple life forms detected. Distance 40 meters. Trajectory. Direct approach. Wes's hand instinctively moved to the plasma rifle mounted above the kitchen counter. On Arcturus 7, unannounced visitors were rarely friendly. The mining colony was 300 kilometers south, and the nearest research outpost even farther. Nothing should be out here except him and the permafrost. The external cameras showed them, 6 creatures moving through the white hell outside. At first, Wes thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. They looked like wolves, but larger, their fur shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed weakly against the storm. Cryolupus, the locals called them, apex predators of the frozen wastes, known for their pack intelligence and ruthless hunting tactics. They shouldn't be approaching a human habitat. They should be running from it, but these weren't running. They were limping, dragging themselves through snowdrifts that reached their shoulders. One collapsed just 10 meters from his door. "Damn it," Wes muttered, watching the fallen creature struggle to rise. Its packmates didn't abandon it. They circled back, nuzzling it, trying to help it stand. The gesture was so familiar, so achingly human that something in his chest tightened. He'd seen that before. On Kepler 442b, when his unit was ambushed, when Jackson took that plasma round and refused to be left behind. When they'd all circled back foolishly, heroically, to drag him to safety. The lead wolf, larger than the others, with scars crisscrossing its luminescent hide, turned its massive head toward the camera. Its eyes, triple-irised and glowing with an eerie intelligence, seemed to look directly at Wes through the lens. Then it did something that made the veteran's breath catch. It lowered its head. Slowly. Deliberately. A bow. "You gotta be kidding me," Wes whispered. The creature repeated the gesture, then looked back at its fallen packmate. The message was unmistakable. Please. Every survival instinct Wes possessed screamed at him to stay inside. Cryolupus were dangerous. Their jaws could crush titanium alloys. Their claws could shred combat armor. Letting them inside was suicide. But Wes had been a soldier. He'd seen desperation in 1,000 different faces across 100 different worlds. And he recognized it now, even in these alien features. "Command would have my head for this," he muttered, sealing his thermal suit and grabbing a medical kit. He disabled the habitat's defensive perimeter, another decision that would have earned him a court-martial in his military days, and stepped into the airlock. The cold hit him like a physical blow even through the suit's heating elements. The wind threatened to knock him off his feet. Through the swirling snow, he could barely see the wolves, but they saw him. They didn't attack. They watched, tense and ready to flee, as he approached their fallen companion. Up close, Wes could see the creature was young, barely more than a pup by Cryolupus standards. Its bioluminescent patterns flickered weakly, and a deep gash ran along its side, probably from a territorial dispute or a failed hunt. "Easy," Wes said softly, knowing they couldn't understand his words but hoping his tone conveyed his intentions. "I'm trying to help," the lead wolf growled, a sound that vibrated through Wes's bones but didn't advance. It was a warning, not a threat. "Hurt our young one and we'll tear you apart. But we're giving you a chance." Wes had treated wounded soldiers under fire. This wasn't much different, except his patient had 3 rows of serrated teeth and weighed as much as a small vehicle. He worked quickly, applying biofoam to the wound and injecting a broad-spectrum antibiotic that should work on carbon-based life forms. The young wolf whimpered but didn't snap at him. Its packmates watched with an intensity that made Wes's skin crawl. "Okay," he said, standing slowly, "but you're not staying out here. None of you." He opened the habitat's exterior door wide and stepped back. The wolves hesitated. The lead one sniffed the air, its triple-irised eyes narrowing. Then, with a decision that seemed to surprise even its packmates, it picked up the wounded juvenile by the scruff of its neck and carried it inside. The others followed. Wes half expected to wake up with his throat torn out. Instead, he found himself staring at 6 pairs of luminescent eyes reflecting the habitat's emergency lighting. The wolves had arranged themselves in a defensive circle around their wounded packmate, but they'd done so in the corner farthest from Wes's sleeping area. They were giving him space, respecting his territory while seeking shelter in it. Over the next 3 days, as the blizzard raged outside, an understanding developed. The wolves didn't beg for food, though Wes offered his protein rations anyway. They didn't damage his equipment or challenge his authority in his own habitat. The young one healed quickly, its bioluminescent patterns growing stronger each day. On the 4th morning, the storm broke. The lead wolf approached Wes as he opened the external door, and for a moment veteran and predator regarded each other. Then the wolf did something extraordinary. It placed a paw on Wes's boot. Gently. A gesture of gratitude that transcended species. The pack moved out into the cleared dawn, the juvenile walking steadily among them. At the ridge overlooking Wes's habitat, they stopped. All 6 turned back, their bioluminescent patterns pulsing in unison. A farewell, a thank you, a promise perhaps. Wes watched them disappear into the ice fields, and for the first time since leaving the military, he didn't feel quite so alone on this frozen world. 3 weeks later, when a pack of feral Craolupus attacked a mining survey team, witnesses reported something incredible. 6 luminescent wolves appeared from nowhere and drove the attackers away. The lead wolf, scarred and massive, turned to look at the humans before vanishing back into the wastes. It had kept its promise. And so had the veteran who'd given them shelter when they needed it most. Some bonds, Wes realized, transcended species, language, and the cold vacuum of space. Sometimes humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its weapons or its technology. It was in its capacity for compassion, even toward those who were utterly, beautifully alien. The end.